On this sheet, it's dealing with 0 and negative exponents. Okay. All right. So for negative exponents, let's look at number 1. For negative exponents, you have to realize that a negative exponent doesn't mean a negative value for that term. Okay. A negative exponent just means a number between 0 and 1. Okay, so it's going to be less than 1, bigger than 0. Right? So if it's bigger than 0, it can't be negative. All right, so anytime we see a negative exponent, we're going to rewrite that as a fraction. Okay? All right, so negative exponent is going to be number less than 1, bigger than 0. We're going to rewrite it as a fraction. Okay? 1 is always going to go in the numerator. That 3 to the negative 4. Okay, it's going to become 3 to the positive 4 in the denominator. Okay, and so 3 to the negative 4 is 1 over 3 to the positive 4. And you might also see it written like this if you know that 3 times 3, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, that's 3 to the 4th. This right here is 9, and this is 9. Okay, so basically 3 to the 4th is 9 times 9. That's 81. Okay, so this is also the same as 1 over 81. Okay, 1 over 3 to the 4th. 3 to the 4th is 81, so 1 over 81. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and look at number 2. All right, so for number 2, negative exponent, we're going to rewrite that as a fraction. A 1 goes in the numerator. Okay, 10 to the negative 5 is going to come to the denominator and become 10 to the positive 5. Okay, all right, so you can leave the answer as this, or, right, you can write it as 1 over, and 10 to the 5th is a 1 with 5 zeros. And you could also write it like that. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, it's gonna have 5 zeros in it. Okay. Let's look at number 4. So for number 4, x to the negative 6. All right, negative exponent. We're gonna rewrite it as a fraction. What goes in the numerator? 1 goes in the numerator. X to the negative 6 is going to go to the denominator and become x to the positive 6. Okay, we're going to leave it like that. Let's do another one. Number 5. 9 to the negative 3. Okay, alright, so that's going to be rewritten as a fraction because it's a negative exponent. 1 goes in the numerator. 9 to the negative 3 is going to become 9 to the positive 3 in the denominator. Okay. Let's do 2 more of these. Okay, let's do number 6. Actually, let's do 7. Alright, so 7, y to the negative 3. Alright, negative exponent. Rewrite that as a fraction. 1 goes in the numerator. Y to the positive 3 goes in the denominator. Okay, let's take a look at number, let's do 6 and 8. Okay, alright. 11 to the negative 2. Negative exponent. Okay, rewrite it as a fraction. 1 goes in the numerator. 11 to the second power goes in the denominator. Okay, so I can leave it at that. But you also need to realize that 11 to the second power is 121. Okay, so 11 to the negative 2 power, right, it's the same as 1 over 121. Last one of these, 3 to the negative 5. All right, negative exponent. I'm going to rewrite that as a fraction. 1 goes in the denominator. 3 and numerator. 3 to the positive 5 is going to be in the denominator. Okay. All right. Let's look at number 10. All right, so negative exponents, rewrite them as a fraction. 1 will go in the numerator, and then that term will go into the denominator with a positive exponent. All right, anything with the 0 power, so you look at number 10. Anything with the 0 power is going to equal to 1. 5 to the 0 power equals to just 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay, let's take a look at 22. Right? x to the 0 power. Anything to the 0 power is just going to be 1. The exponent is 0. The exponent is 0. That term is 1. Okay. Now, let's contrast number 10 and number 12 with number 14. Okay, number 14, the 0 is not the exponent. Okay, 5 is the exponent. This is saying 0 multiplied by itself 5 times. It's 0 times 0 times 0 times 0 times 0. Okay, that's just going to end up being 0. Okay, and that one, the exponent is not negative, right? So it's positive 5, which means the 0 will be multiplied by itself 5 times.